Adventure bikes. Big, heavy, complicated, expensive. Really expensive, in fact. You'd be lucky to see change out of 180,000 rand for any of the big 1000cc plus bruisers. Or would you? What if I told you there was an adventure bike, a 1000cc adventure bike, that came in at a whopping 40,000 rand less than the cheapest of its rivals? Now that got your interest, didn't it? And so, welcome to the first of the bike show's new long-term test bikes, Suzuki's DL1000 V-Strom. 139,900 rand on the road. But at that price, is it really as good as its more expensive rivals? Since its introduction in 2002, the DL1000 V-Strom has been the bridesmaid of the adventure segment, always a bit upstaged by its glitzier rivals, but in reality, not losing that much to them in ability either on, or by all accounts, off-road. I'll have to wait to pass judgment on that one until I try it on the rough stuff. For 2015, the bike has been completely upgraded in both engine and chassis. The engine has grown a few cc's, twin spark plugs and a slipper clutch. The frame is new and lighter. The suspension is new, as are the brakes and reprogrammed ABS. Traction control is present for the first time, the ergonomics have been completely rethought and the seat reprofiled. Overall, it adds up to a really impressive package. If the V-Strom has a problem on first acquaintance, it is that it's a bit too understated. It's not tough enough looking. You don't feel that it could take on the rough stuff and come out the other side in one piece. Instrumentation is par for the course, even if the mounting does look a little vulnerable in the event of throwing it at the scenery when off-road. And the switchgear, without any toys, is simple and of good quality. On the move is where the V-Strom impresses most. The V-twin engine is the highlight of this bike. It's really strong and punchy with a typically gruff and lumpy soundtrack that makes you wonder what it would be like with an aftermarket exhaust system. The chassis and suspension are really well sorted, allowing you to swing the bike through the bends with absolute confidence, something that is helped by the low centre of gravity and, relative to other bikes in this segment, a lowish seating position. I'm pretty tall, so I like the height of most adventure bikes, but at no time did the V-Strom feel cramped. What I did feel was that I was sitting in the bike, not on it, and yet you're still high enough to make threading through traffic easy by looking over it rather than through it. The screen isn't the most effective, but it's all right. And the mirrors might be the ugliest mirrors you've ever seen, but they are possibly the best mirrors in terms of doing what they're meant to. The V-Strom's not exactly packed with toys, but then again, have we not been brainwashed into thinking that an adventure bike can't be any good unless it has all the toys? Traction control, ABS, different engine modes for different conditions, electronically adjustable suspension, not to mention cruise control, heated hand grips, onboard computer, tea-making services, butt warming. Maybe scratch that last bit. But here's the thing. How many adventure bikes actually see any dirt or any off-road riding? 30% of those sold? 20%? I don't know. I'm not saying that an adventure bike can get away without having any off-road ability whatsoever. But seriously, how many of us are going to conquer Kilimanjaro in the morning, traverse the Sahara in the afternoon, stopping off at 4 p.m. to fill up the tank, just in case? Doesn't road behaviour matter just as much? We'll get to the V-Strom's off-road ability in a later post on the bike show. Most importantly, when this bodywork has been protected by some crash bars and when this rather vulnerable piece down here, the exhaust and the oil filter, not to mention this sensor, has been protected by a bash plate. For now, I'll finish this report by saying that while the V-Strom might be unassuming to the point of anonymity almost, I suspect that this is a bike that's going to grow on me gradually as it reveals more of its true colours in the weeks to come.
So it's going to grow on you like a what?
Yes, you could, but look at that. I mean, you can get rid of warts with the right creams. Yeah, look, it's like I said, it's not going to shout about its abilities. And I mean, you look at it, when you compare it to like these BMWs here, they've got all the crash protection, you know, they've got the hand guards. That comes with none of them. But as I said, it's 40 grand cheaper. I was actually wrong. It's actually 60 grand cheaper than the standard GS and a whopping 80 grand cheaper than these Adventures. So it starts to look like quite a good value there, really.
You could pretty much throw a whole catalogue on it and it'll still be cheaper than these.
It's massively cheaper, massively. Look, what I really need to do is take it on a really good long run, a road run, and just sort of let it get into riding it.